The first 2 weeks of my diet, I lost 5 pounds. I haven't changed anything since, but for the last 5 weeks, I've only been losing about 3/4 of a pound per week.
It's a lot of math.
Should I lower my calories?
So basically, things were just humming right along the first 2 weeks, and now it probably feels like things have come to a grinding halt. This is a really common thing, and it is super discouraging. But here's what happened. When you started your diet, you probably cut way back on processed carbohydrates. You probably cut back on just the total amount of food that you were eating. So what that means is you just literally have less food volume in your stomach when you get up in the morning and step on the scale. Well, guess what? That affects your body weight. And that doesn't really have anything to do with whether you have less or more fat on your body. It just means the contents of your stomach are less. So you weigh less. So that's one factor that causes people to see a lot of initial progress when they start a diet. Number two, as I mentioned, that you probably cut out a lot of highly processed carbs. That could be crackers, that could be tortilla chips, ice cream. So what happens when you start depleting your body of carbohydrates is you start to dump out some of the glycogen, which is stored carbohydrates in your muscle and liver. You burn what you have already stored up as energy, and you're not really replenishing it because you're not eating as many carbs. So not only have you lost that glycogen, but you've lost a lot of water weight along with it. This is why jumping on keto or carnivore or one of the super low carb diets is so rewarding on the mindset side when you first start, because you see that really encouraging progress right off the start. It's working, and it encourage you to keep going. But then once you're down to a more baseline level of stored glycogen and food content in your stomach in the morning, now we're starting to get into the point where we're seeing how much fat we're losing if we're consistent. She said that she was down to a rate of 3/4 of a pound per week. That's amazing progress. So even though you felt like you were crushing it in the beginning, you're actually crushing it now. If you can stay consistent with what you're doing and continue to lose 3/4 of a pound per week, that's amazing progress. Absolutely do not lower your calories. And even beyond that, I would recommend you start planning to take a break from your diet before you start to deal with hunger or before you start to get mentally burnt out of the process of dieting.